I say the war on drugs is literally the biggest conspiracy there ever was. So, you know what I'm saying? Show me a conspiracy that has as much hardcore evidence that everything that I've just laid out and presented. Show me one. Give me one. There's not one.
First of all, I wanna say, motherfuck the system and free all of the drug offenders that are stuck in prison. The drug war is nothing but a corporate war for profit, and every drug arrest is money in somebody's pocket. The rich get richer while the rest are left to die. People never question why, they just shut up and comply with the orders that they given. Their thoughts are in a prison cause they never go beyond the mental borders that they live in. Fear got them shackled in imaginary chains. Freedom's an illusion contrary to what they claim. Slavery's a catalyst for monetary gain, so the people that we choose to lead will never bring us change. Cause to be the president up in the White House, you gotta serve the ones who follow Adam Weishaupt. And if you ever try to change and take the right route, they gon' let that thing bang and blow your lights out. That's what happened to Abe Lincoln and Kennedy. Any president that's for the people is the enemy. And any president that ever led a campaign to end the Fed just ended up dead. Now that's a damn shame. This ain't a damn game, this is a war, fam. For more power, more money and more land. More oil, more silver and more gold. First they take away your freedom, then they taking your soul. Are you hearing me clearly? Do you still think this shit is a conspiracy theory? Do some research. This is public information. Since the very start there's been corruption in our nation. Our government's a puppet that is run by corporations. They don't give a fuck about the suffering population. They devalue our labor and our money with inflation, then have the nerve to say it's economic stimulation. Every move they make has ulterior motives. They so arrogant that they don't even care if we notice. They expose their plans with declassified documents. They confident that we too pacified to put a stop to it. Shit, and maybe they right, but not me. DISL Automatic's made for the fight. It's an ambush, guerrilla style, military general. Kill a child in a foreign land and you're a hero now. But kill a child here and catch a life sentence. That double standard really sends the right message. Soldiers are remorseless when burying corpses. They simply taking orders from superior bosses. Americans, they claim a part of terrorist forces. Get locked up and tortured with no habeas corpus. You catch a beat until you're black and you're blue. You'll be crying and bleeding while they laughing at you. These are facts that I'm spitting when I'm rapping is true. You think it's not possible until it happens to you. If they strip one citizen of one single right, then none of us are free, and that's the reason we should fight. Now's the time for the people to rise and expose the truth behind the secrets and lies. Put an end to the elitists who treat us as slaves. They lead us astray, deceiving us with treasonous ways. Based on history, the logical solution to the problems that we facing is to start a revolution. One life, one take. No, this ain't a rough cut. The dream is over, now it's time to wake the fuck up.
All right. So I'm here today with quite a special guest for me from the other side of the Adriatic Sea, even though he's actually right now in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a rapper, musician, and so I think it's the first rapper that I interviewed on this program that I do. And he's really knowledgeable about what's going on, about the situation, and I believe he comprehends and knows fully natural law and how things are going in this world and the solution to it. So let me introduce you, DISL Automatic. DISL, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thank you, brother. I'm honored, honestly. Really, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I became quite a fan of yours, through the works and podcasts of other people. I started hearing the songs, and I was like, well, this guy knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So
it was it Mark Devlin? Is that where you first heard it? Sound of Freedom?
Yeah, it was the Sound of Freedom. Yeah, Mark Devlin. He used to play your songs a lot, and
Yeah.
but I think also what another podcast by a friend of mine is Ivan Oyola from Phoenix, Arizona. The podcast is called Guy Next Door Speaks.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I know Ivan. Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know him from, I believe, Instagram, as where we first linked up. Oh, that's dope. I didn't know he had a podcast though. Sweet.
yeah, it's just on his website. It's
Okay.
not on YouTube or anything. So you have to, and he also has some of your songs, some of your material over there.
Nice, dope.
Yeah. So I know. Would you like to maybe give a little bit of an introduction of who you are? What you're doing. Obviously, we said that you rap. You're a rapper, and
Yeah.
so maybe give a little bit of an intro about your work and yourself.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I prefer the term MC as opposed to rapper.
Okay.
I am technically a rapper. Someone who raps is a rapper, but I prefer to say an MC because to me, an MC encompasses more than just rapping. It's actually someone who um, represents and gives back to the culture of hip hop, and in doing so, they give back to the people, to the communities, to you know. Human rights activism essentially is part of being an MC from my perspective. So I consider myself an MC, an activist, raptivist, and basically, I've been rapping my whole life. 38 now. I started rapping in the streets of Chicago when I was 13, back when it wasn't even cool to rap, and when, especially in Chicago, growing up where I grew up, like, the hood, I didn't grow up in the worst of the worst neighborhoods, not the projects, but, a hood, the rough area where it was very multicultural, and hip hop and rap was something that primarily it was only people of color that were involved in it at that point. We're talking about the early 90s. So, I came up in a time where you really had to prove yourself. It's not like now where anybody could just buy a home studio, put a song out on the internet, and next thing you know, they're a rapper. Nah, when I came up, you really had to prove yourself. And for me, being white, I'm a first generation American. Both of my parents are immigrants from Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia. So, but being being seen obviously as by people as white, I had to prove myself even more, because there was no Eminem, there was no, being a white rapper in the early 90s was a phenomenon. It was completely unheard of. So, but it was the best thing for me because it really made me work harder and to be the best MC and the best rapper and lyricist that I could possibly be. And back then it was all about freestyling. Like I said, we didn't have home studios. If you wanted to go to the studio, you had to pay $20, $30 an hour. We were kids. We couldn't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Our parents weren't going to give us money to go to the studio. So it was all about on the streets. And it was just freestyling off the top, real freestyle off the top of the dome, no written rhymes. Like, you had to go off the top of the dome, and it was all about battling. So, and that's how I really started and came up, battling in the streets, made a name for myself, earned a reputation as the best battle rapper in my area, the best freestyler in my neighborhood. At 17, started a rap group with my boys, my homies from around the way, and we recorded our first professional. I was 17 when I recorded my first with the group, my first professional EP. It was like 4 or 5 songs. We put that out. It did well. We started doing shows, got involved in the underground scene, which back then was really starting to blow up. Like, now some big names in the, like, Jedi Mind Tricks. I don't know how familiar you may be with underground hip hop scene, but Jedi Mind Tricks, Nonfiction, Atmosphere.
Yeah, not very much. Not very much myself, but anyway.
Yeah, it don't matter. So anyway, you know, just started in the underground, then later got more involved. You know, initially it was all about battling and who had the best lyrics. Then as I got older, I got more involved in the streets, so to speak. You know, hustling, selling drugs, doing shit that people do in the streets. You know, everything that rappers rap about that they really lie actually about, I actually did it. and so my raps started to reflect that. And ultimately that led me to a lot of problems, got into some big trouble with the law. I'm not gonna go into detail about that at this point. You know, I'm saving that more for, I wanna, you know, I don't really reveal my whole story because to be honest, I'm saving it for when I have a much, I want my platform to grow more and more because I don't want to unveil my whole story because I know how impactful it is and how real it is. I want as many people as I can possibly reach when the time comes for me to actually get into the details of my story and what exactly happened to me and what I had to overcome and what I had to do. So anyway, long story short, I took a break from rap. I kind of had to, and I found myself, you know, because I was lost. I was, you know, I knew that rap was my. I always knew rap was my thing, right? And from the moment, you know, you hear a lot of stories of rappers like, "Oh, you're not that good. You won't make it," and they had to fight again, like Eminem, right? Like,
Yeah.
with me, it was always white boy, but then when I rap, it was always like, whoa, you're the best. Like it was never, nobody ever told me that I shouldn't rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when they heard me rap, it was always, man, you are made for this. You're meant for this. You're gonna be famous. You're gonna be rich. And that's what I thought. And that was my dream back in Chicago was to be a rich and famous rapper. You know, to have all the money and all the women and I was on that path. I had record labels. I did a contest in America with the Source. Back then, the Source magazine was the biggest. It was the Bible for rap. And I actually was voted the third best up and coming rapper in America by the Source, Interscope Records, and you know, basically the fans of that voted. So third in all of America. I mean, thousands and thousands of people entered this contest. And then I started to get major record labels wanting to sign me. And this was all right before shit hit the fan. And, you know, I got into a lot of trouble. So then that eventually, long story short, I ended up in Montenegro, where my family's from. And that's where I had my awakening. And it all really started with a spiritual journey. You know, first I started my sister Synthesis, who's, you know, like that's none of this I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for her either. You know what I'm saying? Like she has been one of the biggest parts of my journey, and she, you know, she raps and makes music too, but she's just the moral support in the business. You know, she's behind the scenes making shit happen. So, but we kind of started on the spiritual journey together. Just it started with like The Secret, like learning about energy, how everything's energy and our thoughts and our vibrations and the frequencies. And then that took me down the rabbit hole, as they say. But what really prompted me to get politically charged and politically motivated was learning about the war on drugs, because that's something that deeply, deeply impacted me personally and so many people that I knew around me growing up with me. And, you know, I learned about that. And that even now is like one of my, like I consider myself an expert when it comes to the war on drugs. Like that's one of my primary focuses where like I could debate anybody about it about prohibition, about, you know, the drug war, how it's a failure, the ineffectiveness, the changes that need to be made, what should be done.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Sorry, but that's
cool, bro.
no, that's a kind of it's a very important topic for me too, because you know, as many people like yourself was a big part of what they call an awakening of a person. It's you know, come to comprehend and learn certain facts that, you know, certain realities of how things actually are, and one of these topics is it's the war on drugs. So,
yeah.
You know, you grow up, everybody, okay, yeah, we need to do the war on drugs because the drugs are bad, are horrible, and and the people that, you know, that use them or sell them are the absolute scam that needs to be, you know, locked up for life. We need to militarize society and arrest all these people. So I'd like, if you're okay with it, I'd like to talk a little bit about the war on drugs. Actually,
I'd be happy to. I'm always down to talk about the war on drugs, man. That's a big you know, I'm sure you've probably heard my song "War on Drugs is a War on Us."
Yes, I have.
I'm always open for that. But just, you know, to finish my kind of story, so that's what prompted me to change, learning the war on drugs, and that took me down the whole path of the government, politics, corporations, corruption, and that's when I say, because honestly, I was not gonna rap anymore. Like because everything in my life was just, it was too fucked up. And it was actually a big, at the time when I started in 2011 rapping again, there were so many unknown factors, and it was actually a really big risk that I was taking to even put myself out into the public. But because that's if it was just like, ooh, I want to make money, and I wouldn't have rapped ever again. But to me, when I got the knowledge of what was happening in the world, I viewed my talent as a rapper as a weapon. I realized then how I thought, I knew my whole life that I was meant to rap, and that it was meant to do something big with my talent. I thought it was supposed to be fame and fortune, but then I realized, no, I had my whole life been training for this fucking war that is taking place. And I am equipped better than most people on this planet because of my training my whole life to use my tongue as a weapon. My brain and my tongue, my ability to communicate in not just rhyme form, but in spoken word, in written word. Communications, period, is what I excel at. But particularly with rap, and I said, okay, what are my options? Either I let fear conquer me, and I, because of all these things that surround my circumstances, the fear that I felt of it, I let that conquer me, and I sit here knowing what I know and tuck my tail between my legs like a coward and don't do anything about it, even though I have the weapons and the ability to do something. Or I say, fuck it, I don't care what happens. And that's what I did. I said, fuck it, I can't sit quiet, I can't. And when I started, you know, this had been years after everything in Chicago. You know, this was 5, 6, 7 years later. So everything I worked for in Chicago with my rap, everything was done. I didn't have any more of those fans, any connect, nothing. I changed my name. So I started as DISL Automatic with zero fans, 0 followers, 0 subscribers, nothing. And I didn't care. It never was about any of that to me from the beginning. And to this day, it still isn't. Sure, now, yeah, I have fans, I have followers, I make money from it. It's great. We need money to live in this fucking system. That's just the fact of the matter. But it's never the motivation for me. It never was, and it never will be. You know, that's why people don't really know my story, and they can make assumptions and things like that. But the truth is, I took more of a risk by just putting my music out than probably any other rapper has ever had to do. So, you know, and it was never about, all I ever thought putting it out was, even if one person, genuinely, it's so cliche, it's such a cliche, right? Like you hear it all the time, but it's true. It's really, and to me, it was true. All I thought, because I had zero anything, I was starting completely from nothing. And I thought if I could just reach one person and have a positive impact on one person, then it's all worthwhile. And, you know, obviously now it's thousands of people that I've reached. And so, and, you know, my things surrounding my life, my circumstances, and things have changed, and not necessarily changed, but a lot of time has passed and there's more certainty in my situation. So I'm a lot more comfortable at this point in terms of, like, you know, my own safety and well-being. And but the only reason it is that way now is because I took a huge fucking risk that I had to take initially to even start putting music out. So, and now here I am doing an interview with you. So that's basically the
that's the best part.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
No, but you're right. Actually, my one thing that I keep that I use as a motivation for me too is even if it's just you know one person, that one person that you reach, you never know. It might be, you know, way better than you in communicating and in doing things in with computer skills and everything. So even if you reach that one person, that, who knows, maybe it can spark, you know, something else.
Absolutely, bro.
Bigger than even bigger than what you are doing. That, like, you know.
100%. Yeah, because it's all a chain reaction. You know, Tupac said it too. Like, I won't change the world, but I'll spark the mind of the person that does. And to me, I don't even see it that way. I see it as I won't change the world. Maybe even I won't even spark the mind of the person who does. But maybe I spark the mind of a person who sparks the mind of a person who sparks the mind of a person who, you see what I'm saying? And so on and so on and so on and so forth. Because think about it. Okay, let's say the war on drugs, right? Which was what really got my brain. You know how many people before me had to research, put a message out, die? Someone like Gary Webb.
Yeah.
Someone like Gary Webb, the journalist who broke the Iran-Contra scandal. He fucking died for it. Yes. He's a hero to me. He's one of my heroes. You know what I'm saying? So how many people before us? It wasn't one person. I don't get my information from one person. That's ridiculous. If you're getting your information from one person, then you're not really being yourself. You're not really conscious. You need to take from everybody what's good, leave what's bad. So we've all gotten to where we're at as conscious, revolutionary, woke, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to call it. We've gotten to this point because of the work of thousands, if not millions, of people before us who dedicated their lives to gathering information and then putting it out in some way, shape, or form. So.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want, this topic of the war on drugs, you know, you mentioned also Gary Webb. That was that was fundamental in exposing that whole the whole scam that the war on drugs really is a scam and a power grab at the hands of, you know, governments and governmental agencies. So I don't know. Would you,
it's so deep, bro. It's so deep. It's so deep. People have, like I say, the war on drugs is literally the biggest conspiracy there ever was, and continue. You know how? Because it's not just about arresting people, innocent people who should not be arrested, and putting them in prison. It's also the effect it has on the families of those people. It's also the fact that those people are primarily people from lower economic statuses, which are primarily people of color. Yes. It's also the fact that they used the drugs to disseminate, to destroy the inner city Black communities, at a time where they were organizing and creating their own infrastructures, right? So people want to talk about systemic racism and things like that, but they never talk about the war on drugs. They want to talk about gun violence. Oh, let's end gun violence, let's take away the guns, but they never talk about what the biggest result is, which is the war on drugs, because it creates a black market. Prohibition, this was the most frustrating thing about it for me is that everything about the war on drugs is facts. Like, it's declassified documents, it's proven, it's, you know what I'm saying, it's statistics. Statistics, just even if somebody doesn't want to believe the conspiracy behind it, you can't deny the statistics. You can't deny that in the 50 years since its inception, the war on drugs, that everything that it was supposed to do, meaning decrease drug use, clean up the streets, all these things, it did the opposite. Everything increased. So at what point do we just say, hey, this is not working? It's insane to keep trying the same thing, and it is not working, right? So, and then you have the fact, what factors into the war on drugs as well, because there's not just one reason for the war on drugs. That's why it's the biggest conspiracy, because it's so multifaceted. Then you have big industries like cotton, like lumber, wood, like private prisons, like phone companies. When I tell people this, they're like, what? Why?
Yeah.
AT&T lobbies the fucking government, the US government, for strict drug laws. You know why? Because drug laws fill the prisons the easiest. And you know what prisoners do? They make collect calls.
Interesting.
Think about that.
Yep.
AT&T. So you had back in the days Henry Anslinger. He owned the paper press. Yes. Paper. Oh, he owned a big fucking lumber company. Oh, shit. Fucking hemp. Hemp is a problem. Hemp is my competition. Exactly. What do I do? What do I do to get rid of my competition? Oh, hemp is cannabis. Yeah, it's same shit. So in the drug laws outlawing marijuana because it makes black guys go crazy and rape white women. Yeah. They threw in there outlawing the growing of hemp for industrial use. Think about that. Hemp, which is honestly hemp and marijuana as well, but hemp more so. It is, if anyone, you could say God or whatever, it is a gift from the universe, from the earth, from God, from whatever the fuck you want to call it. It is a gift put here for us, and it has been outlawed in America to grow it. Like, as opposed to it being used for everything, plastic, fuel, material, everything. It is sustainable, it's regenerative, it grows back quickly, it uses a limited amount of resources to grow. It can be the biggest contributor to saving the world if we actually want to buy into global warming and all these things. Hemp. And do you hear these environmentalists talk about hemp? Fuck no.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So, the war on drugs is so many layers to it, man. It is so many layers. That's why I say it was used to, also it was used to quell public rising. In the 70s, for example, the hippies, right? What were the hippies about? Love, peace, stop war, end the war, man. Peace, dude. So what did they do? Fucking marijuana. Arrest them all. Shut this shit down. Look at what marijuana is doing to these people. They're just some goofy hippies. Peace, love, man. They're lazy. They don't want to fucking work. They don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was used on so many levels to carry out so many agendas by the government and corporations. It's unbelievable. And now it's gotten to the point where you have private prisons, right? Privately owned prisons that sell their stock on Wall Street, and their stock value is based on how many people they have in their prison. And these prisons make deals with the state. Let's say Illinois, where I'm from, Chicago. Illinois says, okay, they make a deal with a private prison. And the private prison says, part of the deal, and this is fact, people could look this up. The private prison says, all right, we're gonna come here, but it's up to your state to fill our prison because we're giving you jobs. And they don't open private prisons in Chicago. They open it in the fucking countryside of Illinois, right? Somewhere way far out where people need jobs. So we're going to provide jobs for, the local people, the local area where it'll help the economy, but it's up to you as the county, the state, to keep our prisons filled. And if you don't, if our prisons are less than 90% filled, you owe us money. And these are actual contracts that private prisons have with states and counties. So what that does is that incentivizes the state and the county to arrest more people. And do you know what the easiest way to arrest people is? Drugs. Why? How often can a cop catch, let's say, a pedophile in the act of being a pedophile? Or do they catch killers and murderers? And no, they only are there to respond to them. Yes. But all you have to do to catch someone with drugs is you pull them over, you stop and frisk them. Oh, you got a joint on you? Okay, you pull them over for some basic traffic violation, like their tail light is out, and next thing you know, you got something on you, or I smell something. What are you doing? And most of the time, the way they get people is just through sheer intimidation. Because people get so scared that they will literally snitch on themselves, even because they don't know their rights. They don't know that they could say, no, sorry, you don't have the right to search me. I don't have to show you anything. I don't have to let you in my car. So, and then also, in addition to all of this, you have in the police department, there's the specialized unit for drugs, right? Yeah. And they actually get the primary chunk of their funding, these departments that specialize in drugs.
Narcotics.
Not the DEA, not the Drug Enforcement Agency, but like in the local police department, you have the ones who specialize in drugs, like the Drug Task Force. Yeah. And they get the majority of their funding comes from what they confiscate in drug arrests. Because when you get arrested for drugs, they have the right to take everything that you have and that you own. When I got arrested, bro, I was with a homie of mine. They took his car. We were in his car. They took all of my money on me. I had a couple thousand on me. I had just gone shopping. I spent a couple thousand. They took all of my clothes. They take everything you fucking own. Even if they get you with a gram of drugs, they can take every fucking thing that you have on you at that time when they got you. Everything. And then they go and they sell it at police auctions. They sell your car at police auctions. They sell your jewelry. They take your money and they pocket it. They take the drugs and they go sell it to the local drug dealers because the cops are fucking corrupt as fuck anyway. But even without that, just off of the shit that they confiscate, that is how they fund their department. So what does that do? That incentivizes police to arrest more people, to attack. They are literally, instead of a police officer, policing means surveying, patrolling. A police officer is supposed to be defensive. Yeah. The war on drugs has incentivized them to be offensive, to attack, to constantly look to create criminals where there otherwise would not be a criminal.
Yep.
So it's fucked. I think I said enough there. I mean,
yeah,
I don't,
sure.
you know.
Yeah, and Yeah, it's exactly right. And I
Did I
call.
forget any? Did I miss anything? You maybe.
I don't think so. I call the war on drugs was kind of like the precursor to the war on terror. Was
Oh
like
yeah,
because
absolutely.
yeah, it was just another excuse, as you said, to get law enforcement and even the military sometimes to get them in. To antagonize them even more towards the general public.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and
and I did forget something actually that reminded me, because they did learn from the war on drugs. They learned from the war on terror, but the war on drugs really learned the most from alcohol prohibition,
yeah,
and that's why they. Yo, I can't. People don't understand how these fucking powers work. Every little thing, they take every nuance into consideration. They take every detail into consideration. There's a big reason why in the early 1900s it was called alcohol prohibition. Why is it not called drug prohibition? Why? Why is it the war on drugs? Do you know why? Because alcohol prohibition failed. So Americans knew prohibition is bad. It's not going to work, right?
yeah,
But the average American knows that, but is too brainwashed to actually realize that the war on drugs is just prohibition. And also, Americans love themselves some fucking war. If you tell them we're going to war, Danny, damn right, fucking A, let's get it. Let's go. It's time for war. So the war on drugs is like, it is exactly the same in terrorism, in the fact that it's a war on something that you can't have a war on.
yeah,
A war is two sides fighting it. Who the fuck is who are you fighting with? The war on drugs. So, but what people, all people have to do is look at alcohol prohibition. It lasted 10 years, I think. They ended it immediately, but it was too late, because what it did, it already gave, in my city, Chicago, it gave rise to Al Capone.
Yep.
That's how the Italian fucking mafia got their start, thanks to the government, thanks to the US government prohibiting alcohol, because of the war on alcohol, if you want to call it that. And so it's no different with the with drugs. And now, so, and think about the racial undertones of this. That's why I can't stand when people want to talk about systemic racism and these things, but they don't talk about the war on fucking drugs. You're missing the point. It is the biggest racially, it's not, the main motivation isn't just racism, but they used it. They literally used it. You know what I'm saying? They pumped in the fucking drugs into the ghettos for people of color, turned around and arrested them, putting them in prison, destroying the families, and also creating all the fucking street violence and fucked up shit that all revolves around the drug trade. And then they sit back and say, see what those fucking black people do? Look at them. Yep. All they do is sell drugs and kill each other. It is insane.
Yeah, and they also
literally, I challenge anybody to give me a bigger conspiracy. Show me a bigger conspiracy. Not that has facts, that has evidence, that, like, don't tell me, you know, the earth is flat. Okay, you're a flat earther, cool, fam. I don't give a fuck. You don't have solid proof of that. So, you know what I'm saying? Show me a conspiracy that has as much hardcore evidence that everything that I've just laid out and presented. Show me one. Give me one. There's not one. And yet, it's still going on. The war on drugs is still going on. And you know how many people, not that many, I don't want to exaggerate, but there's still people that I could tell all of this to, and you know what they're going to say? Yeah, but drugs are bad still.
Yeah.
But drugs are bad. Like South Park, drugs are bad. Okay. I don't know if you know that from South. Drugs are bad. Okay. So, you know, I mean, but it all starts with education. We just need to keep spreading this message, letting people know like what it is, what the truth is behind it. So
a tactic that they use that they abundantly use is the play on people's emotions. So that twists the mind of people, and they can't reason anymore. As you said, the drugs are bad. Oh my God, ruining ruining our youth with marijuana and stuff like that.
Marijuana makes you dumb and lose your You know how much marijuana I smoked in my life, man? A lot. A lot. I used to sell a lot of it. I used to smoke a lot of it. I've smoked more marijuana than most people, for sure, than most people, right? Now I'm good. But point is, especially in my young days, think about while my brain was still developing, actually, because your brain develops until you're 25. And those were the main years, from maybe like 17 to 25. Smoke, I stayed high. If I wasn't high, that's when I felt high, because I stayed high, right? And my memory, I haven't written a rhyme in 20 years. I come up with my rhymes and I memorize them as I create them. My memory is so sharp. I like to think too that my intelligence, that my brain works at a high level, that I'm well spoken, that I'm not like, what? So sure, it's anecdotal. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I'm just like genetically whatever, but still, I think I'm a fair enough example of someone who can say that marijuana shit is bullshit. I've smoked so fucking, if it was real, the amount of weed I smoked, honestly, I'm not even exaggerating. The amount of weed I smoked, if it really was as bad as they said it was, I would probably be brain dead by now. I'd be like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I mean, for what I've seen, you can, it is possible to abuse it, maybe.
Bro, is it possible to abuse food? Is it possible? Of course.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd say that too. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? Like now it's not for me. If I were to get high now, I get demotivated. All I want to do is just chill and eat, which is fine sometimes. Like, hey, if it's just you want to have a chill, lazy day, go for it. But if I were to do it continually, then it would just put me out of my high energy levels that I like to be at, that I'm normally at. So absolutely, there's no doubt that it's not for everybody. And that's why, to me, marijuana, like, first of all, it shouldn't just be about marijuana. It should be about all drugs. To me, that's why I don't like I get it. It's good, obviously, to show people like, hey, look, marijuana is not harmful. There's medicinal purposes, but it's not about that. Even if there was no medicinal purposes, even if it was just harmful, who gives a fuck? It's my body. It's my brain. Don't tell me what to do with my fucking personhood. That's all. That's the bottom line. That's fucking liberty. Exactly. Alcohol. What is good about alcohol? What the fuck is wrong with, like, it frustrates me to the point of like, I just want to grab some people and just, what is fucking wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, yo, I've done a lot of I've done weed, I've done cocaine, I've done ecstasy, I've done mushrooms and alcohol, right? Alcohol is by far the worst. By fucking far. All the other drugs, weed, I get high. Like I said, I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm chilling. I'm just peace. Like, mushrooms, I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? What else? Ecstasy was just like, oh shit, everything was great. This is fucking great. Coke is just like, wow, yo, I could do anything. I could do anything. Alcohol was like, yeah, what the fuck? What are you looking at? Oh, fuck. Alcohol, the majority of like dumb shit in my life I've done under the influence of alcohol. Fights. Most of the fights I got into, like in Chicago, was because I was drunk. Out drunk at the club, at a party, whatever. And fucking alcohol literally, it completely impairs the part of your brain that is responsible for being reasonable. Completely. It eliminates it. You have no, like, alcohol is the fucking worst. If anything should be illegal, although I don't think anything should, but if anything should, it should be alcohol. Like, honestly. But so, you know, when you look and just say that, okay, alcohol is legal, but weed isn't, and all the other drugs aren't. It's that should be enough. That double standard, that hypocritical standpoint should be enough for people. That should be enough for people to be like, wait a second, this is fucking stupid. These laws are ridiculous. But when something is part of culture, when it's embedded in the fabric of society, like drinking alcohol is, you know, then people don't think twice about it. And obviously the corporations who, you know, are profiting hugely off of alcohol, they're not gonna raise a fuss. They're not gonna complain. They're not gonna change anything. So
I don't think so.
nah, sure they're not. You know.
No, yeah, that's I see. Yeah, and for me it's the same. Sometimes you just want to shoot somebody to make him see, you know, what the reality of the situation is.
Definitely.
And really, and even right now, at least in my country, because in Europe there's actually I think there's Portugal that decriminalized drugs. And
yeah, they did, and I tell people, look at Portugal, just learn from Portugal. Like everything, people think when they hear it, they're like, oh, that's crazy. They've created safe houses with nurses where people could go and actually get heroin administered to them. But guess what? Because of this, heroin use has gone down. Infectious diseases spreading from dirty needles has gone down, like HIV, like other things has gone down. What else do we need to say? Like, part of, like, it's human nature, the forbidden fruit. It's human nature to want what you can't have. So the government tells you, no, you can't have this. Your parents tell you, no, you can't have this. Especially as a youth, you're thinking, I think I want that. So, you know, it's like, look at alcohol. Alcohol, again, a perfect example. In Europe, alcohol is permissible at a much younger age than in America. And it's not a big deal. Kids have a beer. Like, I'm in the Czech Republic. Everybody drinks beer. They drink in moderation. Like, sure, I see drunk people, but it's far different culture with the youth in Europe drinking. Like, they can have a glass of wine with their parents. It's not a big deal. Whereas in America, because it's like, oh, you can't drink till you're 21, you got fucking kids like me at 13 sneaking into their parents' liquor cabinet to fucking try alcohol because it's such a big deal. Like, they create actually a bigger demand for it. That's all prohibition does. It creates a bigger demand and a black market for it. So, you know, same thing. Like in Portugal, it's a perfect example of how normalizing it, making it available, actually creates less. You know, it lessens the problem. And I think everyone should kind of follow that. You know, follow their lead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's definitely not what they're doing in Italy, because every evening, every day at the news, the guy died because of drugs. And there's all this drug, you know, all this selling of drugs in the cities. My goodness.
Rome.
We need more. Yeah, we need more enforcement, more police. Sorry.
I heard a lot of bad things about Rome. That it's like really now overrun with, of course, this is, you know, with drug junkies and all these things.
Yeah, the biggest cities, in all the bigger cities, they are, you know, pushing this narrative about you know, how there's all these drug pushers everywhere. We need more police, we need more enforcement, we need more authoritarianism, as if we already haven't got enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not seeing, you know, good signs in this direction. And one thing that's it's interesting also about the talking about rap music.
Yeah.
It's what they did in America. Another way they pushed this. I mean, another way that this whole war on drugs worked, especially like at the beginning, was maybe the introduction of a certain type of rap music. Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it became, you know, listen, the now we getting into a whole, you know, the music industry is Hollywood. See, that's the funny thing. People say Hollywood, but they act like the music industry is separate from that. The music industry is Hollywood. It's all under one umbrella. All the record labels, the movie companies, they're all owned by, you know, a few bigger companies, Viacom, Disney, you know, all these huge corporate entities. So in these huge corporate entities, they have so many different vested interests. A lot of them invested in private prisons. A lot of them invested in, you know, lumber, cotton, all these different corporations that profit from slave labor. That's another thing too about the war on drugs. My bad, I forgot about that. That's a big part. Slave labor in prison. You know how many companies actually their products are made by prisoners, by inmates? You know how many products? People in America have no idea. The couch that they're sitting on was probably made in a prison. Their license plate on their car, so many products are made in prison, and the prisoners either don't get paid or get paid like, you know, 10 cents an hour. So then you have companies who use prisoners as basically wage slavery, cheap labor. Then those companies also lobby the government for stricter drug laws. Because again, drug offenses are the easiest, fastest way to fill the prison. So anyway, so back to the music industry, back to Hollywood. These big corporate entities, they own everything, right? Like there's everything is in their interest, right? They have their hand in everything. So first, the main thing that they had to use rap for was to push a agenda of consumerism. That's number one. They realized that rappers were kind of starting to do it themselves, like, you know, because it was a natural thing for rap back in the days, because these were people from poverty, right? And new money always wants to show money. That's the law. Like old money, like people who are really wealthy, you can never even tell that they're rich, right? If you see them. It's new money. And trust me, I come from immigrants. It's the same mentality. I know so many people, you know, immigrants, my family included, my own father, like, you know, he comes from poor. So when he gets money, oh, he wants a nice car. He wants, you know, so it's that mentality. Like, all right, that's how it was. The rappers, they came from poverty. So it's like, okay, we got money now. We want to show it off. So we're going to wear the Adidas. We're going to wear the fat rope chains. We're going to wear the, you know, and then once rap music started to gain popularity on its own, corporations then saw, they didn't create it. Like hip hop, the culture was created organically, rap music organically, but it was co-opted, it was infiltrated, it was, you know, and when the corporation saw, okay, this shit is profitable, all right, we could get our hand in it. And also, oh, not only is it profitable, but it's really the only form of music that is actually bragging about meaningless shit that they have that we sell. Like rock doesn't do that. Yeah. Fucking jazz, R&B, nobody does that except rap. You know, because that's the mentality when you come from poverty, right? So okay, and so they're glamorizing consumerism, and now they're starting to even, you know, we could use this to sell our products, right? So of course, they're gonna start pumping out the music that is more geared towards, you know, materialism, and then of course, like now this is really just a theory with no actual, you know, I know that there was some kind of letter on the internet, but
Yes.
it was never actually verified that it was you know, so I believe it. I think just based on deductive logic and other evidence that surrounds it, I believe it. But at the same time, when I don't have hard, solid evidence of something, I have to keep my mind open that maybe it isn't true. But just the fact that, you know, these companies had invested in private prisons, and the theory is that they also started more pushing the agenda through rap music of like, you know, selling drugs, violence, these type of things to help, you know, fill their prisons essentially. Which, I mean, it's definitely, like I said, it's logical. It makes sense that they would do that. You know, they have all the power in the world to do it, and especially because the change came at a time in rap music. It was the early 90s, right? It was the late 80s, early 90s. NWA was really the main catalyst for it. And at that time, the most popular shit in hip hop, the most popular shit in rap was conscious shit. Public Enemy, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, you know, these Afrocentric kind of vibes with hip hop about peace, love, unity. You know what I'm saying? Queen Latifah, just the list goes on and on. KRS-One,
Yeah.
Rakim, to me, the greatest MC ever. Like, he never even used curse words in his rhymes. He was all about dropping knowledge, and all he would do is like, you know, I'm the best MC. But other than that, it was all about positivity and peace and love and, you know, uplifting the communities. So it definitely makes sense that the agenda was pushed. And now, you know, people praise NWA and Dr. Dre, and to me, I don't praise them at all. And honestly, they were one of my the first CD I ever got was an NWA CD when I was, you know, I don't even know how old, 9 years old or some shit, 10, I don't know. But I absolutely don't praise them because they may have been unknowing about the fact, they may have been unknowingly contributing. Maybe they didn't, it's not like they sat with like the higher ups and were like, yeah, we'll be puppets, sure, use us. But nonetheless, now now more than ever, we have information proving that they were all fake anyway. They weren't even gangsters. Like, they were all fucking fake anyway. Dr. Dre, the biggest of them all, was the fakest of them all. You know what I'm saying? And now here he is, 30-something years later, fucking a billionaire practically, you know, made all this money off of being fake and contributing to the glorification and glamorization of a lifestyle that has done nothing but keep his people down. And that's who we celebrate. That's who the fuck we're supposed to celebrate as a culture, as hip hop. Nah, fam, not me. That's why, you know, people hate on me, man, like, because I keep it real. I don't give a fuck about none of it. I don't care how good they rap, how much money they have. If you're not for the culture, if you're not for the people, if you're not for the community, which none of these big guys are. Eminem, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Rick Ross, Drake, none of them. None of them. Not one single one of them. Not one single one of them. And that's why on my new project, my song, Culture of Resistance, Hip Hop Culture of Resistance, it's already, I haven't even promoted it. I haven't even put out a video or anything, and it's already my most streamed song on the project. It's 7 minutes long, and it's me breaking everything down. I urge, like, if there's one song I would want people to listen to, it's that one. Because, you know, I feel so strongly about the power of look at how powerful hip hop is, rap music in particular. It literally has changed the fucking world. Not for the better, mind you, not for the better. But if it was if these rappers were true to the culture, true to the essence of the culture, it would have had the same effect, but for the positive. And that's what infuriates me, you know, because they sold it out. They sold it out. They were co-opted, whether they knew it or not. The ones at the top, they know it. You cannot be at the top of the industry. You cannot be at the top of the fucking industry, like the names I mentioned. You can't be at the top and not know what the fuck is going on. You cannot. It's not possible. This is not a fucking movie. This is not a fairy tale. If you're at the top, you had to, at some point, you were confronted with people, you were confronted with situations, you were privy to information, whether it was on accident, on purpose, you were in meetings, you overheard things, and you know damn well what the fuck is going on. And you didn't do anything about it because it would compromise not your well-being, not your safety, not even your comfortable lifestyle. It would compromise your excessive, extreme, luxurious lifestyle. And that's what pisses me off. Get your money. Get your money. We all gotta fucking live. Get your money. Do what you gotta do. Do it ethically. But when is enough enough? At what cost? So someone tells me, oh yeah, but Eminem, like, you know, maybe he would, but he's afraid of this and that. Really? Oh, he's afraid? That's why he flies around on his private jets and fucking and has, oh, Eminem's great because he doesn't talk about money and this and that. He doesn't talk about it because he fucking lives it. He doesn't wear big chains, but he has a one little diamond fucking chain that costs $200,000. He has a fleet of fucking cars at his crib. He has 10 houses around the world and private jets. Who gives a fuck if he doesn't rap about it? He lives it. He lives that lifestyle of excessive materialism and luxury. He's a walking fucking Nike advertisement. Everywhere you go, you see Nike or Jordan on him.
Yep.
And people act like he's some hip hop purist, like he never. Listen, all of them. Now it's Jay-Z. Now, oh, Jay-Z, he's woke. Oh, you know, because he's fucking braiding his hair and he's talking this and that. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Jay-Z has done his whole career, has done nothing but shit on people in poverty, has done nothing but glamorize and glorify a lifestyle of crime, selling drugs. Now he sits there with people like Obama and other people who profit from the war on drugs and sits there and laughs and enjoys his fucking life and flies around on his private planes and then he puts out an album, his little 444, and he tells people, hey, invest in property, you'll make money. Oh, and they love him. Oh, thank you for the information. Really, Jay-Z? Oh, it's just that, invest in property? Oh, thanks a lot, asshole. Is that how you made your fucking money? Jay-Z, if Jay-Z, so to anybody listening, if Jay-Z is such a fucking, so much for the culture and so much for the community, then why did the majority of his 500,000 or close to $1 billion now net worth, why does it come from liquor sales? From liquor, alcohol. Listen to me, people. Alcohol. The number one thing in every ghetto, in every impoverished community, you go and there's a fucking liquor store on every corner. It's what's killing the culture. It's what's killing the communities. And that's what he made his fucking fortune from. Not rap, not even selling drugs, from alcohol. And that's who y'all's hero is? That's who your fucking savior of the culture is? That's who you consider a revolutionary? Because he's got his hair in knots now, growing dreads, and he puts out a few songs? That's it? That's all it takes to appease you? Yo. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. You know, culture in general plays a big role in, as we know, in like social engineering the masses or groups of people. So
and hip hop more than anything in this day and age. In today's day, hip hop, rap in particular, not because it's not graffiti, although graffiti is everywhere in the world, which is amazing. That's one of the few. Graffiti and breakdance are the two of the elements of hip hop that have really stayed true. Like anywhere you go, graffiti, is dope. People breakdance, dope. But rap in particular has had the greatest influence culturally in pop culture, not just popular culture around the world. Rap, it's fucking everywhere, yo. It's everywhere. It's it's been used, it's been abused, it's been fucking co-opted, it's been appropriated, and these leaders of the culture, these so-called leaders, they've labeled them leaders just because they're the richest. When the truth is, they're the furthest thing from the leader, because the only reason they got all that money is because they allowed the culture to be appropriated. They allowed companies to come in and do what the fuck they want. They allowed other rappers to come in and not stay true. You know, it started with, you know, that's why it started with someone like P. Diddy, right? Now, oh, P. Diddy, oh, he's great, he's a leader of the culture. Listen, I was heavy into hip hop when P. Diddy first came out in the 90s, right? Real hip hop heads, you know what we thought of P. Diddy and Notorious Big? They were some fucking sellouts. They were some fucking clowns. Ain't no real even Boot Camp Click. There was a lot of real hip hop heads in the rap industry that dissed them. But guess what happened? They've had the right promotion. They had the right, because P. Diddy is a great businessman, a great mind with promotion, with marketing, because he went to school. P. Diddy ain't he ain't from the streets. He went to school. He fucking is a businessman. He's an educated businessman in marketing and promotions. So, and he created the right marketing, the right sound to appeal to people, and everything changed. It was a huge turning point. And I'll never forget, one of the main things P. Diddy said back in the days was, don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. And that was something that has stuck with me throughout the years, because it was you know, just the whole image that he portrayed. And people love Notorious Big. Look, I'm not here to slander no dead man. But I really don't care, because he's dead. His spirit doesn't give a fuck anyway, right? Like, that's something that's weird to me. Like, don't talk ill of the dead. Why not? If they were shitheads, if they fucking sucked while they alive, who cares? Their spirit is gone anyway. They don't give a fuck what we say about them. Anyway, people love Notorious Big. Guess what? Notorious Big was a fucking phony. Notorious Big was a fucking fraud, and Tupac called him out on it. Before Notorious Big met P. Diddy, he was a corner thug rapper hustler, grimy. He was like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Fucking bandanas and thug. P. Diddy came and said, nah, man, that ain't gonna make you money, bro. This is what's gonna make you money. You gotta be a playboy. You gotta be Big Papa. You gotta be a player. You gotta do it for the ladies and for the money. You gotta wear Gucci. That's why Pac said, you all about Versace. You copy my style. You know what I'm saying? Because he was. Look, Notorious Big is the definition of a sellout, actually, because he changed his whole style. He changed everything he rapped about. He changed his image and his persona to make money. That is the objective definition of a sellout. And people can hate me for it. I don't give a fuck, because it's the truth. Objectively, not my opinion. It is the definition of a sellout. So, and look, even Pac was not perfect. Pac, to me, yeah, Pac is way above Notorious Big, but even Pac, like, something that people love to, you know, post-mortem, to elevate someone's status far beyond what it actually was. Yeah. It's understandable, I get it. You know, and now especially a lot of these young cats, like, I was alive with Pac. I got arrested for shoplifting a week after Pac got murdered. I remember it vividly, because the one of the fucking dudes who arrested me he was a young guy, and we were talking about it. You know what I'm saying? He was a cool guy. I remember, you know, I was in high school when Pac got killed. I know these young cats, some 17, 18-year-old now who just found out about Tupac 2 years ago wants to tell me something about Tupac. Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, Tupac, definitely, he was a human. So he was flawed. He was multifaceted. He, on one hand, he had songs like Dear Mama, Brenda's Got a Baby. You know, the whole Tupacalypse Now album was full of, you know, gems and things like that. But the truth about Tupac is that he grew up as an artist. He grew up, his family was Black Panther lineage. He grew up with a revolutionary mindset. But also he decided he wanted to make money. He wanted to live the thug life. He chose that for himself. He wasn't necessarily grown into that. He wasn't necessarily born into that. He started his rap career with Digital Underground. You could right now go look at a song called Same Song with Digital, all around the world, the same song. And when he raps on that, he ain't no thug. He's like, but now I clown with the underground when I come around. Like, he's just rapping. He ain't a thug. He created the thug life image for himself, right? So on one hand, Pac was this, you know, artistic, deep, Black Panther inspired, motivated, amazing thinker and, you know, forward thinker and had great ideas. But on the other hand, he was one of the first rappers to talk about Versace and Cristal, you know, popping bottles of Cristal, champagne, and glorifying materialism and disrespecting women. And he still did all of this. He was not a saint. Like, I'm not trying to put him down, but I don't like it when people elevate anyone to some godly status where, oh my God, he was just the best for the culture, and there'll never be another Tupac. No, fuckers, there are people that are way better than Tupac right now as rappers and as leaders of the culture. Immortal Technique, Akala, Low Key, Beast 1333, KRS-One, K Reno, fucking the list goes on and on. All right, I ain't even gonna name myself. I'm gonna be humble about it. But straight up, like, real shit. Cats that have never, who are consistent. They're not 1 minute, yo, yeah, fuck the government, yeah, we respect our women, and the next minute, man, fuck, get money, fuck bitches, do, you know what I'm saying? I'm selling, I'll shoot you if you fuck. What? I get it. Like, people love to say, oh yeah, but you know, it's just real because, you know, we're humans and that's how we are. We could, no. That's how we are when we're fucking confused, my friends.
Yes.
That's how we are when we have not fully found ourselves and our conviction and fucking stood strong in it. That's when we're walking the fence and when we're fucking confused, when we don't really know who we are. And that's why for Tupac, bless him, seriously. Biggie too. They were young, man. They were young. That's why I'm not trying to down them. I'm just saying, let's not make them out to be these martyrs, these perfect images of, especially Tupac. They don't really do it with Notorious Big. But for Tupac, like, he's just this huge revolutionary. There'll never be enough. No, he was a young man who was still trying to find himself. His life was ended prematurely, you know, in the sense of age-wise. I believe that everyone's life ends when it's supposed to, one way or another. But if he was alive, he probably would have evolved. And at some point, he would have not been confused. I'm sure he would have made up his mind and stood firm in his convictions. But he just wasn't at that point. And all I'm doing is calling a spade a spade. It's just an objective fact. He wasn't. And that's okay. I understand it. He was fucking 25 when he got killed. When I was 25, I didn't give a fuck about shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not judging him. All I'm trying to do is say is tell people, like, these rappers that we idolize, that we think of as, like, most people think of as like some type of revolutionary heroes, and oh, they're so real, and oh, they're for the culture. They're actually not. They're actually not. They're either young men confused and trying to find themselves with no guidance, or they're fucking sellouts who know exactly what they're doing. Like Jay-Z, who is almost 50. Eminem, who is almost 50. These are grown-ass men who have been in the industry for 20 plus years and who know exactly how the industry works and what they are doing. And there's no excuses for them. That's why I don't mind the young guys. I don't. Even again, Culture of Resistance, my song, I started off by talking about the young guys. You know, I don't blame the young guys. You can't blame somebody who's 18, 19, 20 with no guidance, coming from poverty, coming from the ghetto, coming from the worst situation. You can't blame them for being the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? They need time. That's why I say I would much prefer. I prefer one of these young guys to fucking do mumble rap, rap about bullshit, and get money and get out of the ghetto. Because in the ghetto, there's no chance for them to change. There's no chance. They don't stand a chance. Get out of the ghetto, and then maybe they have a chance of changing their mindset and of becoming a voice for the people in the ghetto that they escaped. But if they're stuck in the ghetto, in those circumstances, no good is going to come of it. So to the young people, I give them a pass. But when you're someone like Eminem, who's literally going on 50, he's 46 now, 47, and you are rapping about the same shit you rapped about 25 years ago.
Yep. Yes.
Bro,
yeah.
That's inexcusable to me.
Yeah. No,
where's your growth? Where's your development? Where, as a human, what are you doing? You know?
No, so, there isn't any. Yeah, and that what you said, like it goes also for the rest of us. You know, many of us are still confused. Generally speaking, you need to get the right building blocks, the right knowledge, and the right mindset to then apply. To then apply it in your life and better this situation.
100%, man.
We talk quite a bit with this whole aspect of the war on drugs and the rap culture, etc. I just wanted to ask you about one last point. You talk a lot. There's even one of your albums, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Revolution.
Yeah, the new one, the one I just put out. Yep.
Okay. So can you explain a little bit this concept? What you mean when you say revolution, or revolutionary? Because there's a lot of confusion about this term, right?
Yeah, sure.
So what do you mean with the term? Like when you say revolution and revolutionary, what do you mean with that?
The song Revolution on the project Revolution, I think it explains it perfectly. So people should definitely check that out. Let me just plug it: Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all of that. Getbigon'em.com. It's available for free. You can donate. So definitely check it out. So I say like this: revolution's a process, and that process is in progress. There is progress being made. People are waking up every day. So, and it goes on even more, like this revolution is not about violence and hate. It's about finding a way to evolve our minds and hearts. A revolution's a full circle, meaning we taking it back to the start. So, I mean, for me, there are different types of revolution, I believe, right? There's a physical revolution of like, let's say the culmination of everything where the system would collapse and there would be the people would rise to power and all of that. Sure, there is that actual physical, but that won't ever be attained if, to me, revolution, this project, this everything, I have a song on my previous project, Revolution of Self, and that's what it is. To me, there is no greater revolution than the one that is inside of us. Even on this project, Revolution, there's a song called The Fight Inside. The greatest fight you'll ever fight is the one that starts inside. Because to me, it's easy. It really is easy to just say, revolution, power to the people, or to storm the streets and march, or even fucking get a gun and let's go overthrow the government. That's easy, honestly. Like, especially when everyone's doing it, right? Because there's power in numbers and you could find courage in that. The hardest thing that anybody will ever have to do, therefore it is the realest revolution, is working on yourself. It's the hardest on an emotional, mental, spiritual level. It requires a brutal honesty with yourself. It requires going deep into your own past traumas, exploring childhood traumas, things that make you feel uncomfortable as fuck, make you feel sad, angry, you know, because to me, it goes back to a point that you made earlier about how the government, you know, and the powers that be, they play on our emotions.
Yes.
And the biggest, to me, one of the biggest issues that plagues humanity is lack of emotional intelligence. You know, people being so reactive, so stuck in their reactive mind, in their emotional reaction, that, you know, you see it all the time. I see it all the time online. Like, you know, people just see you post something and right away, well, what the fuck is it? Like, look, my goal in life, to me, the revolution of myself is getting to a point where I am in total control of my actions, where nothing anyone does or says can cause me to lose control, act impulsively on my emotions. I'm not there yet. I've come a long fucking way, you know, long way from back in the days where if somebody said something that upset me, I punched them in the fucking face or choked them out. Just straight up go straight to physical violence, to the point where I often catch myself and I applaud myself for noticing situations with people and where I may have previously had more of an emotional reaction, but now because I've worked on myself for nearly 10 years now, I've gotten to the point where, okay, I'm in much more control of myself. Now, that doesn't mean we don't feel the emotions. We don't want to be cut off and just be numb. No, you experience the emotions, you feel them, but you don't act on them. You stop, you always try to act, not react, to stop, wait, think logically, reasonably, rationally, and then act, not react. It's a big difference. So to me, when we're able to do that, that's when we have the utmost clarity. That's when we can make the best decisions for ourselves, and in doing so, we're going to make also the best decisions for the collective and for humanity.
Exactly.
You know, that's when we can see with clarity, when we're not, you know, so confused by our emotional reactions. So to me, that is hard fucking work. That's like every single day. That's being constantly aware of yourself. That's being constantly aware of your emotions and your reactions and your actions. That's constantly asking yourself, why? Why does this? You know, anytime I see something like online or someone says something, the first thing, if I feel some kind of way, I stop and I say, why? Why is this making me feel like this? Why is it? It's not them. Everybody wants to say, because they said this, they did this. No. That's victim mentality shit. That's fucking victim mentality. Listen, people will do things. People do things and say things. The government is fucking us up. All of this is real. But when you are feeling something because of it, is that person gonna come and help you deal with those feelings? So the victim's mentality is someone does something to us and we expect the person who hurt us to make us feel better. That's insanity. You are responsible. You're responsible for yourself. So to me, I always say, why? Why am I feeling this way? What is it? What is it? What is it about me in myself, my past trauma, my programming, something? It's always from your past, always. Everything we are in this moment is a result of everything we've been programmed with to this point. whether it's from what we programmed ourselves with or what we've been programmed in the past by by primarily parents, family, society, school, all of that. So everything up to this point is a result of the past. That's just an unavoidable, inevitable consequence of life. So, you know, for me, it's always digging deeper and being introspective. And that's what Get Big on Them is all about. That's why it's Get Big. It's growing mentally, you know, growing in spirit and mind. You know, it was never about, you know what I'm saying, like overthrowing the government and these things. Like, sure, like I definitely talk about the physical realm of revolution and fighting the power and these things, but more, it's my focus is more, has always been more about the revolution within ourselves and really knowing who we are, knowing our strengths, our weaknesses, knowing what we're capable of, and just being in tune mostly with our emotions and being able to, in any situation, use our logical, critical, rational, reasonable mind instead of just fucking reacting emotionally. So that is the basis to me of all revolution, of all personal growth. Like I have a line in my song "The Fight Inside." The last line of the verse, it says, "Successful revolutions fell into irrelevance because those who were revolting lacked emotional intelligence." And even if tomorrow, if see the reason why, to sum it up, the reason why emotional intelligence and being able to know yourself and not react emotionally and use rationale and reason and logic, because that, when you're in that state of being, you look for solutions, right? Like me, when I have a disagreement with somebody, like, or a conflict, I don't need to be right. I just want to resolve the issue. So let's put our emotions and feelings to the side. Let's talk it out. Let's communicate, and let's figure out the best way to move forward. So tomorrow, if the fucking system were to go down, right? Let's say the system collapses, and you know what, Francesco? We're fucked. We're fucked because people are not ready for that. They are emotionally not ready, because you know what would happen? Well, now we have to be liberal. No, we have to be this. No, the best way. No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it would just all be emotional dribble. And it would just be all emotion. And people would fight, and it would be fucking chaos. And people would end up killing each other. Because, listen, right now, most people, even woke, revolutionary conscious, you put 10 of them in a room, they're definitely not all going to agree on everything, and chances are they're going to start arguing and fighting and bickering, and they're not going to come to any kind of common ground or resolution or any kind of productive anything as an end result, because they don't have the emotional intelligence to be able to stop. Best way for everybody. We're going to have to make compromises. We're going to have to make sacrifices. But if we all think logically, rationally, and critically, and we put our minds to it and put our emotions, you know what I'm saying? So, and we are not at that point. You know how many times I see in the revolutionary conscious community, like just so much emotional outlashing and negativity and hatred, and you know, like
there's so much infighting.
Yeah, infighting, because again, people are so emotionally attached to their beliefs, their all these things, right? And they can't get past the emotion of it. Like me, I don't give a fuck. I don't have emotional attachment to the things that I talk about. If somebody comes and they can, anything that I stand for or talk about, if someone comes and they present to me logical, factual, rational, reasonable arguments, I'm going to stop, I'm going to think, and I'm going to say, shit, you know what? You're fucking right. Cool. Awesome. Let's go. Let's move forward. Like, what, you know, because I don't care. Like, I genuinely, don't get me wrong, I have moments of like my ego or things like that. Sure. But it's a moment. Like, I'm not going to be stuck in that way. in the end of the day, I don't care to be right. It's not about me. I just want for things to be good and people to be well and to find solutions and to make progress, however that may be. So, I think without the emotional intelligence, even a worldwide overthrow of the system and the government, it would ultimately be a power grab. It would be a power struggle. It would be egos clashing. It would be chaos. And the fucked up thing is that right now, as the world currently is, and I hate to say it, but right now, this system is better than no system currently. It's not the best system, far from it. But this system right now is better than no system because of what I just said. If right now there was no system, people are not ready for personal responsibility. They're not ready for anarchy, meaning the true definition, meaning no rulers. They're not. Most people are not leaders either. That's the thing too. We have this false notion that everyone can be a leader, and they can to some degree. But I'm talking about leaders as we as society view them. Not everyone is meant for that, and it's okay. Like, as long as we have been a species, like, look at every other species on the planet. Unless we're not from this planet, which maybe, so maybe this is a false theory, depending on if you believe in the alien crossbreeding, or I don't know. But every other species on this planet has an order, has a herd, has a pack order. They're the followers, they're the leaders, they're the alphas, they're the roles. Why would we think we're different? So, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that we don't have good leadership. We don't have good leadership. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? So to me, right now, unfortunately, because people, there's so many people, it would be impossible to organize. It would be impossible for people to agree on things, to move forward, to create infrastructure. Right now, at this very moment, the system is better than no system. Because if the system just crashed right now, it would be what people in the mainstream media refer to anarchy actually means chaos, and it would be chaos. You would literally you would be on your own, because that would mean no power. That would mean shortage of food supplies. That would mean, okay, like imagine right now if the powers that be, the elite said, you know what, you fuckers, let's see how you do without us. Cut everything off. What would happen, Francesco? You know what would happen. You strike me as an intelligent man. It would be fucking chaos. It would be everybody for themselves, because there's 7 billion people on this planet, and maybe only 0.01% of that 7 billion are equipped to have any kind of survival skills in the wilderness, to not be reliant on the system, myself included. That's why I'm working and striving to get the fuck off the grid, to build my own place in Montenegro in the mountain with solar, with all of that. But right now, I'd be fucked. I'd have to get a fucking gun and stock up on food and hope that a gang of fucking pillagers don't come to steal my shit and kill me and take my shit. Because that's how it would be. So as much as I fucking know and don't like the current system and know that there's a better way, right now at this present moment, God forbid the system would just collapse. But then again, maybe it would be still better, because it'd be hell on earth at first, but maybe it would lead to something better down the line.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with the point that you made right now. Yeah. Actually, so I am more for the second one, because I used to think that way. Like, well, if the system was to collapse right now, it would be complete chaos, because obviously people are not ready to live free But I changed my mind after contemplating it for a while, and I think
well, because down the line, but but you have to acknowledge that if it collapsed today, tomorrow it would be chaos.
Yeah, that there will be quite a lot of chaos. Yeah,
I
possibly.
mean, my brother, there's already chaos in the world.
Exactly.
Even with laws and rules that for the common person, actually, this is how deep it gets, man. People think they are woke. They don't listen. The average person actually, not me and you, because we're free thinkers, we're free spirited. I don't need laws or rules, the promise of heaven, the threat of hell to govern my behavior because I have my own moral compass. But one thing I think we forget as activists conscious is that we are the vast minority. Most people in this planet, if there were no laws, if there was no threat of punishment, or from religion, if there was no promise of salvation or threat of hell and damnation, most people would go off the fucking deep end, my brother. They would go off the fucking deep end. And that's what would happen if the system today just gone. I mean, look at what happens. Look at what happens when people just get riled up enough, like let's say in America, when a fucking sports team wins the thing and they start rioting and fucking looting, and that's even within the constructs of the system, right? Now you take people where there's, maybe it wouldn't be tomorrow, but what would happen is eventually no system, no energy, no food, no resources. My brother, as soon as them resources start drying up, because then it's survival. And I don't care who you are, and that includes myself, bro. Listen, if the system's gone and I run out of food, I'm not gonna sit here and shrivel up and die. Are you?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but
so what do we do? What would we do? Like, I agree, we're on the same page. Eventually, from the ashes and the rubble and the turmoil and the chaos, maybe something better would evolve. But there would be a period of time where it would be hell on earth, my brother.
Yes, yeah, I know. I agree, but chaos is also a teacher.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you're gonna. The thing is, you're gonna continue to suffer until you get it right.
Yeah.
It's not. Maybe you will never get it right, and you will be you will end up extinct. Which I don't know. Maybe it will happen. Yeah. But you will have, and when you, because like right now, especially in this society that we have, I think we are not really seeing, the reality of things, reality of, we are not really seeing things how they really are, because we sort of live in this illusion that we have order, which is not really that. So, I think that would be, that will be a problematic situation if there was some
that's
sort.
What I'm saying. Like, I think people romanticize revolution. They romanticize. They think that if we crash the system, that it's just somehow magically just gonna be a utopia, an ideal world. Fuck no. Look, even if best case scenario, if the system fell and there wasn't chaos, do you know how much hard work there would be? Do you know how uncomfortable it would be? Listen, bro, people ain't ready for that. That's the thing. Like, you asked me about revolution. That's revolution, but also revolutionary. Are you willing? And I said there's right now, this system is better than no system. That means for most people, for general. Me personally, I would rather take the risk, like you said, and fuck this system. Crash it. Let there be chaos. Let's see what's gonna happen. Fuck it. Because I don't need. I'm used to being out of my comfort zone, taking risks, being in fucking crazy situations. So for me personally, I would rather end this system and let's fucking see what happens. Let's roll the dice. But for most people, bro, if you ask them, even the revolutionaries, okay, so you really want the system to crash. Okay, so are you ready to have no comfort, to not have a home, not have energy, maybe have food, maybe starve to death, maybe freeze to death? Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? You know what I'm saying? Because this is the reality if the system crashes. It's not gonna be, oh, the system's down. Oh, we all have free energy now. And no, because also if the system were to go down, they wouldn't do it like my hypothetical situation and say, oh, here, we'll just end it. No, it would be us bringing it down. But do you think they're gonna go out without a fight?
No.
You think they're gonna go out without a, they're gonna make it 1,000 times worse. So actually, if the system really went down, it would be worse than the hell on earth that I originally depicted, because they would do everything in their power, even if they know that they're being defeated. They're not going out without making it virtually impossible for us to create something from the ashes and the rubble of the crash system. So how many people are really ready for that kind of reality? Bro, we have to be honest with ourselves. Even me, sometimes I'm like, fuck, man, I like my life right now. Like, I like my comfort. I like having food. I like being warm. I love this shit. But what are we really, really willing to sacrifice? How many people are really willing to take risks? Yo, it's easy to be like, honestly, I don't say this to fucking brag about myself, but I know the risk I had to take just to fucking put my music out with no guarantees of anything, that I'd even have fans or that I'd be set, no, nothing. So I've actually really taken a risk, a real, not like, oh, people are gonna judge me, oh, I'm gonna lose friends. No, like a real risk, risking my well-being to do this fucking revolutionary shit. So I know what it entails, but even that is nothing compared to shit. Maybe I won't, maybe I'll have to fucking, maybe I'm gonna freeze to death or starve to death or get fucking eaten by humans, get killed so they could eat me. This is real shit that could really happen. Like this, it's happened historically. It's happened for less. It's happened in lesser situations than, let's say, a worldwide system crash, right? There's been lesser situations where people have gone off the fucking deep end and started killing each other and eating each other and doing crazy shit. So that's the question, you know, if we really, really want to be about some revolutionary shit, are we ready for that? But that at this point is highly unlikely. So I'm not going to hold people to that standard of being a revolutionary, because I just don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, to where we would have to really see, like, okay, let's see now who's ready for this shit.
Yeah, we are far from it, right? Yeah.
But aside from that, I personally, I define for me, what I didn't like to consider myself a revolutionary. And, you know, there's also like this weird like stigma of like, oh, you shouldn't call yourself a revolutionary. But it's like, why not? If that's what you believe you are, like, why does somebody else have to? Why? You know, here we are being like, don't worry about what other people think and don't judge you, but don't you dare call yourself a revolutionary.
Yes.
But for me, I kind of realized, to me, I felt like I was a revolutionary because I struggled with, there was a period of time where I struggled with, like, because I started to grow and I started to learn more. And the more that I learned, the more I realized I don't know anything. Like, I don't know anything. And the deeper I got, talking like stuff like this, like we just talked, I'm like, fuck, man. I think we're doomed. Like, honestly, I don't even know if we stand a chance. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Who am I? I'm a fake. I'm a phony. What the fuck? Like, because I was so attached to the end result. I was so attached to, I'm fighting because I believe I'm gonna make a change. I believe we're gonna see a better, this is what, and I struggled. Like, I almost didn't even want to fucking do this shit anymore. You know, like, what am I doing? Like, but then it just clicked. Like, no, you know what? No. I said, okay, again, because, and this is why I'm revolutionary, because I went in and I said, why? Why am I thinking this way? Why am I feeling this way? What is it? Get to the fucking root. It's fear. Okay, what is the fear? What is it about, right? And of course, not succeeding, not seeing, all these things that just didn't actually really mean anything, right? And then it's like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen, D? What's the worst fucking possible case scenario? Worst case scenario is that nothing ever changes, and that's it. God comes down and tells me, hey man, it's cool that you're fighting for all this and all, but sorry buddy, here's the world in 1,000 years. It's 1,000 times worse than it is now. The robots run shit. You're futile. And I really reflected on that, and I came to the conclusion that I'm still gonna fucking fight.
Yeah.
Because my whole life, no matter what, I've fought. And win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna fucking fight. You could tell me right now, DISL, you're gonna die. Because you know what? We're all gonna die anyway. It's imminent. To me, none of this is gonna matter one day. Whether to my spirit, to history, all of this is gonna be dust eventually. I don't give a fuck if you think the earth is flat, round, God, hell, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be gone. None of it is gonna matter. So, to me, I only considered myself a revolutionary, and I only consider others revolutionary who, even in the face of imminent defeat, even knowing that you will not win, you will not accomplish your goal, the world will not change, you will still fucking fight. Not because of the end result, but because it's the right thing to do.
Yes,
and you
exactly.
can't do anything other than that. Because right now, I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I said fuck it and just started making commercial rap music just to make money. And because in my mindset, you know, so what? Nothing's gonna matter. Eventually it's all gonna be gone. So hey, I might as well just live my best life and enjoy my life, right? So with that kind of attitude, it's very easy for a person to say, fuck it, man. You know, I'm just gonna get my money, fucking live my luxurious life and not give a fuck. But I couldn't, because there's something inside of me that wouldn't be able to look at myself in the fucking mirror, you know? And that to me is a revolutionary. Somebody, you know, it's easy to be rah, rah, rah when you either know that it's gonna produce a desired outcome, or you believe strongly that it will. But let's see how passionate you are when you know that it ain't gonna happen, that it's all essentially futile. Because to me, it essentially, it's like an existential crisis, so to speak. It's like, not even, oh, will the system change or anything? It's like, shit, you know what? Like, I don't know anything. I don't even know what I am or what this planet is or where we come from, where we go. I don't know anything for certain. I have my theories, my ideas, but I'm too open-minded to hold steadfast to any one thing and say, no, this is the absolute truth. I can't do it. My mind cannot do it. It won't allow me. It's gonna say, but how? It's gonna say, how do you know that? Where's the proof of the vast infinite possibilities in the universe of what this could be? You think you have the one figured out? I figuratively slap myself in the face when, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, bro. So for me, it's that. it's that realization that I don't know anything, and that ultimately this is all anyway just gonna be, it's gonna return to the ash from whence it came. If we want to be biblical, it's gonna all return to the ashes that it came from eventually. And it's gonna be all lost in the wind, literally. And it's not gonna matter. So it's like, fuck. But to me, that when I really embraced it, it was the most liberating thing ever to me, bro. It set me free. That to me was liberation, because I'm free to just live life according to my rules, according to my moral compass and my integrity and what I know as my own truth, with no attachment or expectation. That's the freeing part, because attachment to results and expectation are shackles, man. They fucking hold us down, honestly. Like that, and I've heard plenty of like wise people and gurus and talk about no expectations, no attachment to the end result. And you're just kind of like, man, what the fuck does that even mean? But I actually feel it. Like I felt it. And it felt like a huge burden was lifted off of my chest, off of my back. And again, since then, I actually go harder. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people would say, but then why would you do anything? That's the dilemma.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
But then why would you do anything? But for me, it meant that, there's no right. I don't have to be right or wrong or good you know what I'm saying? I have to be, I don't know. It's kind of hard to even explain in words, but it just was like, I can just be me and do me. And I get it. Like for some people, it can be a very dangerous perspective. I get it. And maybe it's just something within me that is different. But I know a lot of people, if they held that perspective, it would probably lean more towards the, well, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about anything. Then.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do whatever.
Yes.
For me, it was the opposite. I started caring more. Like I became more empathetic and more passionate and more involved in everything. So
well, that's because you know morality. Because you know morality.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, it all comes back to having the right foundational knowledge.
Yeah.
And then
empathy. I think empathy is empathy. I don't think there could be morality without empathy.
Yeah, sure.
Empathy is everything, man. Because all I do is I say, like, fuck, I don't want to be treated that way, or I don't want to be this. So why would anybody else? Like, why would I, So to me, empathy is really at the root. And now they have studies and stuff that say empathy is actually like an intelligence, like that it takes a certain level of intellectual, like intelligence to even have empathy.
True intelligence, yes.
Yeah, I actually think it's more of what Albert Einstein referred to, imagination, because Albert Einstein even said imagination is more important than intelligence. And if you think about it, empathy, when you empathize with someone, you are putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
That's imagination. You need imagination to say, wait, what would it feel like if I was the one getting yelled at or abused, or you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's imagination. So I think imagination is, I agree with Einstein, because not just for empathy, but for energy, for frequency, for manifestation, for accomplishing goals and dreams, like imagination, visualizing things to then create the frequency and the vibration. Like, yeah, I like that. I like what Einstein said. imagination over intelligence, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I think we went on quite a bit here. So
yeah, I actually gotta get going. I gotta go shoot a music video.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have anything, any closing thoughts or some things that you want to say, or you want to go straight to where people can find you online?
Well, I just would urge everybody to, find yourself. It's great to have information, but I think there's too much information that people are getting and absorbing, and not enough knowledge of themselves and not enough self-reflection. In the conscious revolutionary, it's almost as if it's just they've taken the systemic indoctrination that we received in school, and they just transferred it over here to the conscious movement. Meaning, in school, I'm sure it's the same in Italy, but like in America, it's all it is take this information, memorize it, and regurgitate it, spit it back out. And that's all people are doing, even in the conscious movement. They think that they're woke or revolutionary just because they've absorbed a lot of information, memorized it, and can recite it back. And that ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. You have to take the information, think about it critically, analyze it, break it down, draw your own conclusions. There's things like I probably spend more time just thinking about things than most people, have spent researching, just thinking about things. So, and most importantly, again, is I just urge everybody to even that, the information, the critical thinking about it, do it, but don't make it the priority. Make the priority analyzing yourself, getting to the root of yourself, finding your own emotional intelligence, doing the inner work that is necessary to allow you to really be who you truly are, not who you were programmed to be. Because our emotional reaction is a result of programming, it's a result of dogma, it's a result of other people's thoughts and feelings, and that we've had forced upon us since we were born. And we need to get rid of that program and put a new program in, the program you choose, who you want to be. And so I would really strongly urge more and more people to just really do that inner work. And yeah, get big on them. That's what it is. Grow and expand in mind and spirit. And yeah, you could check me out on all social media platforms, DISL Automatic. Just search DISL Automatic pretty much on Google. My music as well, DISL Automatic on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, every platform, and then my website, getbigonem.com. So definitely go and check it out. I mean, even if you don't like rap, it's just the stuff that I talk about, and everything we've talked about here, pretty much, it's what I rap about. So I actually think the majority of my fans aren't really even rap fans. You know what I'm saying? They just love my music because of what I talk about. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. It was awesome. It was definitely a great dialogue, and
yeah,
I appreciate you having me on here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for being with us, and yeah, definitely check out DISL Automatic. Check out his music; it's awesome. And so, thanks again, man, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
I appreciate it, brother.
See you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Hip-hop is a culture of resistance. Real MCs, we keep the vultures at a distance. Play our position, we soldiers on the battleground. Steady gunning, never running, never backing down. From a challenge, we here to restore the balance in this hip-hop culture by implementing our talents. If you appropriate, you just a phony fake. Homie, you a snake and a rat, you never holding weight. You never busting guns, but even if you was, you shouldn't glamorize it just to try to catch a buzz. Up in the rap game, nah, I don't cast blame on these young cats who be living in the fast lane. Blinded by the diamond shining in their damn change. Blinded by the women and the fame the cash brings. The system is to blame for who they become. I'm just glad they found a way out the slums. Real rap. They went from poverty to wealth with no guidance by themselves against the odds with society depriving them of help. That's a success. I wish them all the best. I hope that they become the voice for the systemically oppressed. I hope they realize the power they possess and use it to make music conducive of progress. I hope they learn that they can rap about reality without glamorizing crime and glorifying fatality. I hope they see the enemy is not their brother, man. A real G's enemy is the government. Them snakes love it when you do their dirty deeds. If you murdering your people, then you working for the beast, the police. For them crooked racist ass cops, they the ones who run the block. Face it, homie, they the ops. Now some dude from the other part of town catch him lacking, get to clapping, had to gun the brother down. Damn, fam, trust me, I understand. I ain't never killed a man, but I used to move kilograms. Roll with a few hitters, gangbangers and bitters. I got my paper rapping and hustling, stacking figures. I never claimed to be a cold-hearted thug, but I was a hustler, and the streets show me love. As a rapper, everyone knew I was gonna blow. The fact that I was hustling just made them love me more. This was early 2000s, and back then, this whole internet thing wasn't happening. No social media, rappers had to get a deal. But you couldn't get a deal if you wasn't real. It didn't matter how ill you was spitting, G. No label was on you without street credibility. But they was feeling me, cause street stripes, I had those. And I used to rock shows and spit mad flows. Stack dough and had my team riding with me. My connect was one of the biggest in Chi City. No snitching, I ain't saying no names. I'm a class X felon, I ain't playing no games. That's a mandatory 10 years minimum. Everyone's a G until the time to go to prison comes. Then they singing songs to the police. I thought you was tough, talking like the boss of the streets. Man, all these rappers claiming they hard in they bars, but they obviously scared of the law. So was I'll admit it, but I had to find a different way to get out of prison that didn't involve snitching. So I risked it all, fugitive, running from the law. Before I snitch, I would die with a gun up in my palm. Street code, if you facing a stretch and you don't snitch, then you get paid the respect of an OG. No need to speak on it anymore. Rising power for my dead homies, I let the Henny pour. And I don't even drink, I don't need to think about the rhymes I spit, I freestyle them, I don't need the ink. Ghost Rider, no, that shit is laughable. I can smack a fool back to Degrassi school. Beat him with the mic and teach him how to write a rap. He recites it back and even then his shit is whack. You can sing a nice song, dog, I give you that. But don't you ever think that you some kind of king of rap. I'm swinging bats, stretch naughty by nature style. I break it down, stick around, it can take a while. Think about this, who owns the media? Who controls the poisonous content that they feeding you? Who determines what songs get played and when? Culture vultures, a bunch of rich old white men. They don't give a damn about the culture of hip-hop. Exploiting it for profit, yo, it's time we make the shit stop. They use rap as a marketing scheme to sell products, and rap artists are part of their team. Most are unaware, but the rappers at the top know they have to play the role or they ass to get dropped from the label, so they tell tall tales when they spit. They lie when they saying drug sales made them rich. They might have sold drugs back in the day, but they acting like they still out trapping for pay. The truth is they can't even go back to the hood that they from, where they say they sold crack. Unless they got security riding with them, cause they know them real hitters will probably try to get them. They know you fake and phony, homie, no you ain't a soldier. We never praising hope or bang, now the game is over. The takeover, I eat through them all. The streets is watching and they see who you are. You a corporate hype man, the white man's favorite sellout. Either give back to the culture or get the hell out. You out the hood, you doing good with $500 million. You got the money, got the power, got the influence. You should be using those to help the oppressed, but instead you just brag about how well you can dress. You glorify the life of an ex-drug lord, but you're a politician who profiting off the drug war. Ain't that suspicious? A conflict of interest, but you don't give a shit as long as you be getting riches. Your whole career you made a mockery of those in poverty. Now you profiting off what amounts to robbery. Selling your album, talking about invested property. Before 4-4 is self-serving numerology. You know what bothers me, this fact that I'm faced with. Nowadays rappers ain't even hot in they fake shit. You sold your name and image, now you making meals off. Songs telling stories you took from a real boss. A real boss who did hard time cause of it, who learned that by selling drugs you working for the government. Iran-Contra, CIA smuggling drugs in the ghetto to destroy the people struggling. That's the vicious cycle your music perpetuates. But you ain't there so you don't care because you hella fake. The real Rick Ross is not a whack rapper, he's a revolutionary. The other dude is an actor. Now back to the topic of cultural appropriation. And rappers who don't give to the culture, they only take it. Who's the white rapper that profits the most from black culture, but then they disappear like a ghost when it's time to take a stand for the people of the culture? All his little stands don't see him as a vulture. He got fame, got clout, now he ballin' out. Won a couple battles, so these rappers scared to call him out. Little Dicky Riff Raff, nah, I better guess again. Who I'm talking about is Mr. Big Bad Eminem. I ain't questioning his skill, he can spit a rap. What I'm questioning is if he's really giving back. I never see him use his influence to speak on black issues, even though the majority of his listeners are white kids who could use the education on systemic oppression and racial discrimination. Oppressed black people created your source of wealth. The culture you abuse it by using it for yourself. You got famous by battling teen pop groups that ain't hip-hop, dude. Someone had to drop truth. Yeah, and that someone is me. Man, I swear I hope that they try to come at a G. I'll be waiting for him, rockin' steady, ready on the front line. The truth needs no metaphors or punchlines. That's why I pack my balls with facts. You can spit, but homie, you ain't no god around. You ain't a real MC if you don't do it for the culture. I don't give a damn if they honor you with a sculpture. I don't give a damn if all your records go diamond. What I care about is what you saying when you rhyming. What I care about is what you doing with your power. Either take a stand or sit your ass down like a coward. Cause hip-hop is the culture of resistance. Real MCs, we keep the vultures at a distance. Play our position, we soldiers on the battleground. Steady gunning, never running, never backing down.